love the way she says that last SuperTed. SuperTed! It's like she's in a hurry to get home and it's just remembered. Anyway, SuperTed was an animated show produced for S4C and based on an original story idea by a guy called Mike Young, who wrote it for his young child in 1978 as a way to help him conquer his fear of the dark. It ran from 1986 until... what the hell just happened on screen? Did he just rip off his own skin? That's not right. I've got to say that has left me very troubled indeed. I mean, how many layers are there? Does he change from standard Ted to Super Ted by continuing to remove layers like some sort of plush-friendly onion? How many does he have to go for before he starts to rip his skin off and then just one day he gets to like nothing? He just erupts into like a fluffy teddy bear lump. It's messed up, I tell you. It is messed up. You can't go around just ripping your skin off every time you want a superhero about. Anyway. The original SuperTed ran from 1983 to 1986 and featured the voice talents of Derek Griffiths, John Pertwee, Roy Kinnear and Mervyn Hughes. After a hiatus of 3 to 4 years, the show was recommissioned as the further adventures of SuperTed and was an American-produced show, which I didn't know. And actually featured in the Hanna-Barbera hour that they had over there. So there's a link to the previous episode. It's not like I come up with these on the fly or anything. In terms of plot, a discarded teddy bear lucks out twice. First, Ted has an extraterrestrial covered with spots called, Spotty, bring him to life by sprinkling a magic substance all over his face. Just like that man in the park when I was a kid. I never got superpowers. Must go back and ask him why. Secondly, he flies off to Mother Nature. Not the same as Mother Nature out of Captain Planet, although it did seem to be like an early 90s thing that Mother Nature would do stuff for you. Anyway, she decides, I don't know, for shits and giggles, just to give SuperTed superpowers. What a day that is. First you gain sentience and then you're given superpowers. I've been alive for 40 years. No one has yet given me superpowers. Still, as Uncle Ben famously said to SuperTed, I think it was him, anyway, with great power comes great responsibility, and he's tasked with stopping the criminal naughtiness of an obese, apparently troubled special needs guy called Bulk, a dude cosplaying Red Dead Redemption, and a sentient camp skeleton whose origin is never explained. As for the games, well, they were released 6 years apart by 2 different publishers. The first of which, SuperTed, was released by the Longman Group Limited. Longman Software were an education software house who sometimes dabbled in the odd arcade title for the under-10s. And SuperTed was one such title. SuperTed has to capture the 3 villains and put them behind bars before they blow the jiggery pokery out of everything with bombs. They're running around a 9-screen maze covered with various things that would cause the said maze to fail numerous risk assessments should a health and safety officer visit. Hit any of the flashing objects and SuperTed loses his abilities and reverts to being standard Ted, who might be the slowest main protagonist in any game I've ever played. Look at this guy, I've not slowed down the footage. More importantly, Skeleton, Bulk and Pete refuse to be arrested by a capeless teddy bear, and so will just peace out on him if they catch sight of him. Luckily, Ted can be repowered by hurling himself at blancmanges, which I can confirm doesn't work and also has a strong chance of upsetting your mum or wife or whoever made the said blancmange. Dawdle in your enemy acquisition for too long and the hoodlums will just find a way to put leather to pavement and escape from jail. If you fail to capture them, well, it looks like this. Basically, it looks like your spectrum has just died. Make no mistake, this initial SuperTed title is as rudimental as they come. The graphics are as pre-1985 as graphics can possibly ever be. The sprite work is decidedly basic, and the animation is, well, non-existent. In standard form, Ted's sprite doesn't even flip. He just sort of moonwalks. Chick chick chamona. It's not aged well, in all honesty, from a gameplay perspective either. SuperTed is very slow, and his standard form is eyelash-tearingly sluggish. The title is so old, I can't even provide you with a review from the magazines of the time. The second game, SuperTed The Search for Spot, starts off amazingly well. What a banger! Listen to that. SuperTed Search for Spot, see what they did there, Star Trek 3 in it, was programmed by Damien Scattergood for Enigma variations for the Alternative Software Company. Alternative Software, like Hightech in the last episode, were keen to prize £3 out of the wallets of children with their budget range of titles and re-releases based on popular children's television properties like Huxley Pig, Popeye, Trapdoor, Sooty and Sweep, Thomas the Tank Engine, and Gilbert the Alien, and Jaws apparently. SuperTed Search for Spot is colourful. It's one of those exuberantly coloured Spectrum games that just wants you to know that it's owned the Spectrum's limitations. Colour clash be damned, it's out and it's proud. SuperTed must rescue poor old Spotty, who has been captured by Texas Pete. Quite how Spotty manages to talk to Ted at the bottom of the screen when he's been kidnapped isn't clear. Maybe he's just really loud, or Ted has some hitherto unheard of super hearing or something. The side-scrolling title plays a lot like the arcade Superman by Taito, primarily as SuperTed doesn't shoot anyone, but instead punches everything with a bit of a feeble range. Wouldn't that be a bit like being hit in a pillow fight if you were hit by a teddy bear? Battle various wildlife, missiles and criminals, and Spotty will finally be free. The game is pretty playable, I guess, though it is hamstrung a little by some very jerksome scrolling and a cumbersome control scheme. Is it better than the other SuperTed game? Yeah, I'd say so. It's aged a little better thanks to that 6-year advantage for sure. Your Sinclair gave the game a 62%, saying it was competently programmed, fun to play, but reckoned it had a few niggles and was a bit hard, which I agree with, it is, but I am pretty lame at video games. And that's that for another week. Keep an eye out for any of those loose SuperTed skins if you're not too creeped out like I am. You could always sell them as cute outfits for toddlers, couldn't you? Ah, that would be nice. Okay, thanks, bye.